pinnacle of baseball, where the top 1% of the top 1% come together to play on one field and play the most talented, excruciating game to watch. Boring. Fortunately, All-Star games have sort of lost their merit over the course of time. The game feels more like a backyard wiffle ball game than the pinnacle of baseball. And while the game's quality over time has diminished, the merit for being selected has not. And that's why I'm here today, to give you some not so great advice on who to select for your All-Star ballot. Luckily, the generous people at the MLB gave us 2 extra phases to mess around and vote for whoever we want, instead of putting so much pressure on one vote. Instead, now they go with the new system where I can vote in whoever I want, and then later on they will reveal the finalist of the general population, whoever got the most votes, and we vote between them. At that point, I might consider giving a serious vote, but for right now, let's get right into it and let's get a little wacky. While I promised wackiness, I'm going to go pretty straightforward with this one, and Yandy Diaz of the Tampa Bay Rays. Diaz has helped the Rays to a tremendous start to the season. After having his career best year last year, he's only doubled down on that. The Rays retaining him over the offseason is quietly looking like one of the best moves of the offseason. In the National League, there's a considerable amount more of variety. You have Alonso, Goldschmidt, Olsen, all come to mind. And even players like Rowdy Tellez, Lamonte Wade Jr., and Spencer Steer are all putting up great numbers in their own right. But my vote, it's going to Freddie Freeman. Not because he is second amongst qualified hitters in OPS. Not because he leads all first basemen in WAR. None of those garbage first base stats. Freeman gets my vote because of the way he runs the bases. No other first baseman is close in terms of WAR added through base running. And how could you blame them? With wheels like that, why would you even try? Freeman is up there with known speedsters like Trey Turner, and ahead of people like teammate Mookie Betts and Wander Franco. Freeman does it all. Not to mention, he can run the bases and get interviewed at the same time.
Oh, here we go. Oh, watch this. There's win, boys. There's win. There's win. There's win. He's right. He's gonna score. Right. There's win. Come on.
Who doesn't love to hear heavy gasping for air as you see Freddie lumbering around third base? That is truly why it's America's pastime. Now let's see. We added a big personality to the All-Star game. What can make it even better? Possibly the biggest storyline in the MLB for the first 2 weeks of the season? Nah, let's add Nolan Gorman, because, well, he's not getting talked about enough, and he's having a season that's worth having an All-Star selection. Next up, let's add a little bit of Texas flair to the All-Star game and add Marcus Semien of the Texas Rangers. I'm watching the All-Star game to see people hit nukes and pitchers to rack up strikeouts. And Semien is the only second baseman in the American League who even looks like he knows what a bat is. Aside from Tigers sensation Zach McKinstry? I mean, but what casual fan have heard of that guy? You know what? I'm not liking this Texas thing so much, I'm going to add Josh Jung. Yeah, take that, Matt Chapman. So what if you won Player of the Month in April? So what if you have a .6 better WAR? So what if you're perennially a better fielder and you just so happen to hit well this year? You know what's better than a April Player of the Month? A May Player of the Month. And that's just what Josh Jung has over you. And just like I said with my Freddie Freeman thing, counting stats are everything, just like I said with the Freddie Freeman argument. And Josh Jung has them. Take that, Matt Chapman. Speaking of counting stat demons, let's go ahead and add Max Muncy to the All-Star team. Muncy is back to his old ways with the bizarre twist where he's only good every other season. He leads all third basemen in home runs and would be a very quality option alongside teammate and speed demon Freddie Freeman. Alright, let's get weird. None of the big name National League shortstops are quite putting up the numbers you'd like to see, so let's take this golden opportunity to give it to someone without name value. Someone who quite honestly looked terrible last season, but is breaking out in a big way this season in Arizona. That's right, I'm talking about Geraldo Perdomo of the Arizona Diamondbacks. Let's use this opportunity to see a bright, fresh new face in the All-Star game at shortstop. Alright, so now that we've had this baseball has a lot of parody speech out of the way, let's talk about the 2 shortstops you've been hearing about for the last decade, Bo Bichette and Wander Franco. It's really tough to choose between these two, where Bichette is purely in the conversation because of his bat, where Franco has much more around the game. Oh my god, how do I choose? Fuck it. Lesman Diaz, get your ass in there. No, in actuality, it is really what you guys prefer. I'm going to go with Franco just because the Rays have been considerably a better story, and it is a large part due to his breakout. Speaking of breakout players carrying their team, let's take a look at Adley Rutschman of the Baltimore Orioles. Wow. Oriole fans could not have dreamt of the impact that this dude has made for their franchise. I was tempted to put Salvi just for the counting stats, and for people to be mad, to be quite honest, but even I could not discount what this kid has done for the Orioles and for baseball. On the National League side of things, it is really Sean Murphy's spot to lose. There aren't many catchers putting up good counting stats in the National League. Maybe some of these current or former Pirates catchers and Elias Diaz, who is having a career year at 32, Jacob Stallings down in Miami, or current Pirates star, Austin Hedges. Please, for the love of everything, just call him Andy Rodriguez. Anywho, in the outfield, there are 6 total slots, and 2 of them, in my opinion, are already spoken for, with Aaron Judge and Ronald Acuna Jr., respectively. Nothing needs to be said from me for you to understand the seasons that they are having. As for the other slot, there's definite argument to be had. The second of the 3 American League slots, I went with Yordan Alvarez. It really was tempting to put the rest of the Tampa Bay Rays outfield, but I went with Alvarez, just because I want to see an absolute nuke hit. So what if he's horrible in the field? I just want dingers. And for the last American League slot, I did fill in with one of those Rays outfielders in Josh Lau. Yes, you heard me, Josh Lau over Randy Arozarena. Yes, I understand Randy's start to the year, and I understand that he would show out just because, well, it's a big game. But I am using this selection to put some respect on Josh Lau's name. This dude is right up there holding Arozarena's hand in a lot of categories and almost gets zero media attention. And I will not stand for it. I stand Josh Lau. Moving to the National League, I will be adding Jack Sawinski. No further questions. No, you have to answer that one. Really? Are you sure? Yes. Fine. I had to slip a Pirates player in there somewhere. And why not Jack Sawinski? Another player has taken a massive step here in 2023. I will say, his game will either look like this.
And the environment can play a big factor in that.
Or this.
Give his ball club 2 more outs. Swing and a miss.
Depending on the mode he is in at the plate. Jack can hit with the best of him when he is on, or strike out with the best of him when he is not. And finally, let's take rookie sensation Corbin Carroll. That's right, no Mookie Betts, no Juan Soto. Do I think that's fair to those two? Probably not. But at this point, this is about who I want to see. I know what Betts and Soto are going to do, but Carroll is a nice new star the MLB can show off at the pinnacle of their sport. And finally, let's move to the DH selection. In the NL, there are some really fun options. You have Bryce Harper and Christopher Morel, but I don't think at the time of me recording this that they have played quite enough for me to put them into the All-Star game. And instead, I went with Jorge Soler of the Miami Marlins. Soler has been killing it this season, and has actually played the whole season compared to the other National League DHs who simply haven't. In the American League, there's really only 2 options in Jake Berger and Shohei Ohtani. And I get it. Ohtani is that fun toy that somehow never gets old. But come on, this dude has Burger in his name. I can hear the TikTok guy now.
Cause Danny fucking Burgers is up and back. Guy just ordered Shake Shack straight to the dugout.
Plus, if you look directly at Ohtani as a hitter, Burger's right there with him. We all know that Ohtani's making the team regardless, so let's go ahead and give it to the new guy on the block. And that's it, my wacky throw a name in the hat vote for the 2023 All-Star Game. Let me know who you guys are riding or dying with in the early process. Remember, it's early, so have fun with your votes and see where it goes. I'm sure I'll revisit this subject here in a few weeks, and we'll have actual votes whenever the finalists get revealed. Until then, or the next video you see of me, have a great video and stay safe out there.